my reading notes for Get Off Your Butt by Sean Stephenson. Written for the active, not passive participant, this book offers an inspiring program for overcoming big bumps in the road, eliminating excuses, ending insecurities, and standing up for happiness and success in life. Based on the author's personal story, clinical training and work as a therapist, and extensive experience speaking and teaching, Get Off Your Butt shows how to overcome excuses for emotional paralysis, build self-confidence at work and at home, and achieve a higher level of success in career and relationships. Dealing with but excuses can swim into self-talk on an hourly basis if we aren't careful. A but excuse is based on an imaginary lack of resources that leads to the belief that we can't do what needs to be done. The but excuse is always stated as a fact, and we may actually believe it's a fact, but it's really just an excuse we use to rationalize our lack of activity or participation. But I don't have the time. But I don't have the money. But I don't have the energy. Why do we like these but excuses so much? Because a but excuse gets us out of doing things we don't want to do. In the beginning, sitting on our but excuses can be really comfortable. People leave us alone. Eventually, though, that's all they ever leave us. The goal is not to be perfect. Our minds are experts at coming up with excuses. The real goal is to recognize when you're stuck in a but excuse loop and do something to get out of it. Here's a secret. The excuse itself is never the real reason behind our inaction. It's just a cover-up for something we're unwilling to face up to. The truth is that for some other reason that we may not want to acknowledge, we really don't want that something, going to the gym, returning to school, finding a new job, or whatever it is, to be part of our current reality. Our but excuse masks our true feelings. These true feelings are never easy to acknowledge, and often we may even be ashamed of them. We hide behind our but excuses so that everyone else will leave us alone. And that's how an individual can end up alone in life. How do I get off my but excuses? Here's what I do. 1. I get 100% honest with myself. I reveal things that I don't want to hear, see, or feel, even if it makes me uncomfortable in the moment. 2. I project my current behavior out into future. What will happen if I don't change now, next week, next month, next year, in 10 years? The answer is never warm and fuzzy, but it's always motivating. Get honest with yourself and change your behavior. Dealing with your but insecurities. Our but insecurities go right for our self-esteem. These insecurities lurk deep inside, ready and waiting to do you in. In fact, when you think you're doing really great, they can pop up to pull you down. But I'm not attractive enough. But I'm not smart enough. But I'm not talented enough. When we sell ourselves the lie that we're not enough, or that we're flawed or broken in some way, we short-circuit all our hopes and dreams. This kind of self-talk defeats us before we even begin, and makes it virtually impossible for us to look in the mirror and see the whole human being who's really there. It also makes it impossible for our friends to help us. Good lesson for me. That's the interesting thing about our buts. No one can get us off of them except ourselves. You can throw people a rope, but if they refuse to grab on and pull their own weight, you can't save them. Where do insecurities come from? How do they form, and how can we get rid of them? In order to answer these questions, we first need to understand how beliefs work. The only difference between a thought, which really doesn't have much power over you, and a belief, which has total control over you, is this. A belief is a thought you've convinced yourself is true. In other words, a belief is just a thought that you've made real. Studies indicate that we have more than 40,000 thoughts per day. Most of our thoughts are fairly insignificant. A handful of thoughts, however, can be powerful. These are the thoughts we deem as truth, the ones that become our beliefs. A belief has only one job: to gather evidence for its existence. Once our mind decides, yep, that's true, our mind will go out into the world and find evidence to back it, our belief, up. Even if our mind has to delete, distort, generalize, or even fabricate every bit of evidence our mind, gathers to prove it's our belief's own existence. The greatest lie ever told. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, seeing is believing. Well, I have some bad news. You've been lied to. Seeing is not believing. It's the other way around. Believing is seeing. Whatever you really believe about something, your brain will alter your 5 senses so that you actually experience it as real and true. If we believe we are unattractive, our brain will work full-time, in every waking second, to make sure all the sincere compliments we receive about our appearance are distorted or deleted as they enter our consciousness. In order for a thought to become a belief, it has to be nurtured by evidence that proves its own existence. With each piece of evidence, it sprouts a root, and its foundation grows stronger. Soon that thought, true or false, becomes a sturdy belief planted in your mind, growing stronger every day. Beliefs aren't inherently bad or good. If we ask our belief that we are beautiful, for example, to go gather evidence to support it, it will find every shred of proof it can to convince us that we are beautiful. The quality of your beliefs and the self-talk that supports those beliefs determine the quality of your emotions. If you spend your time proving that you're ugly, dumb, not supposed to be wealthy and defective, I promise you that your emotional state is going to be depressed and angry. And all your negative self-talk will create a terrible state of mind. To counter the emotional pain this causes, many of us turn to immediate gratification, food, alcohol, drugs, and so on. But none of those gratifiers give us lasting satisfaction. Lasting gratification comes only from growth and contribution. It's only when we work on ourselves and we contribute our resources, time, money, and energy to the efforts of others or the planet are we truly blessed with lasting gratification. Get off your butt now. Make a get off your butt personal inventor. Take out your get off your butt now. Journal and finish the following statements in as much detail as possible, with whatever comes up for you, no matter how pretty or ugly it may sound. Men or women are my body is my career is my future looks. My partner is I'm good at, I'm lousy at. People think I am when I am under pressure. The world is what I love about people is. What I hate about people is. My heart is marriage is love is exercise is work is time I did this assignment. I was shocked to discover what I believed. Fortunately, you can change your beliefs. You can't change what you won't or haven't acknowledged. And that's why this exercise is so helpful. Sometimes simply acknowledging a belief is enough for you to be able to let it go. If you don't like a particular belief you discovered in this inventory, write about what you do want to believe. Once you've described your new belief in detail, you'll have it in your mind. Then you can begin to find evidence in your life to support that new belief. Your self-talk creates the map that directs your life. The question is, what route are you mapping out? You can't afford to treat yourself as anything less than the coolest person on the planet. I vowed years ago to always speak to myself with love and respect, and I am one of the happiest and most peaceful people you'll ever meet. You see, when you combine respectful self-talk with physical confidence, we'll talk about that in the next lesson, people will begin loving and respecting you on a level you never thought possible. Now is the time to brush off the negative thoughts and beliefs you've been carrying for too long.